Hi everyone. From an FPL perspective, more often than not, I don't tend to do well during the festive period, and in some ways, I love to hate this time of the year due to some unforgotten memories. If you want to know why, check out the link in the description below. I guess on that note, you can probably stop watching the rest of this video. With that said, I think there are ways in which we can best position ourselves by re-evaluating our decision making. After all, it's often the simple things that can help us go a long way in FPL, or at the very least give us a fighting chance of not tumbling down the overall rankings by the turn of the calendar year. So here are 6 basic tips to help you navigate the festive fixture rush in Fantasy Premier League. Number 1. Sync the FPL calendar to your smartphones. To the best of my knowledge, this is a fairly recent feature from FPL. It definitely didn't exist 10 years ago. I only synced it to my smartphone calendar last year and have ignored it for most game weeks. However, it goes without saying that this will become incredibly useful in the days ahead when we've forgotten what day it is in between having last night's dinner for breakfast and not hitting the save button or choosing our FPL captain on a whim. To sync the calendar, click on the link in the description below and then select FPL deadlines. This may also work with computer-based calendars too. Try it. What's the worst that can happen? At least you won't forget the deadline. Number 2. Use your own smartphone calendar for FPL reminders. We all make mental notes of when we want to buy and sell certain players, and then we forget, of course. There's only so much that we can remember on our own accord. So in steps your smartphone calendar. Set reminders in advance for a day before each game week of potential transfers. The chances are that you may not even act upon your draft transfers most of the times, but at least you have a potential move to make in the event that you're unsure on what to do minutes before the deadline. Number 3. Centre backs over wing backs. Apart from goalkeepers, defenders' transfers aren't always high up on FPL managers' radars, be they addicts or casuals. And this seems all the more true around this time of the year when clean sheets are at a premium. In general, we're more likely to chop and change our midfielders or forwards due to their high yield points potential. Even if you are looking to buy a defender, no FPL team is complete without a marauding wingback that can bag a green arrow with a cheeky assist in equal measure. I'm no expert and have no stats to back it up, but the risk of rotation always seems to be high among wingbacks in comparison to centre-backs at this time of the year. The fact is that wingbacks are likely to make more runs and cover more ground in comparison to their centre-back counterparts, which can put them at risk of even more fatigue. So don't be surprised if your established wingback sees reduced minutes in the games ahead or simply has a random no-show. He is due a rest after all, and this will inevitably be the case among the Premier League teams with larger squads. On a side note, make sure you have an active bench as you'll need it. So with all that said, if you're going to make a transfer for a defender, it may be safer going for a centre-back. And if you're worried about all their points potential, you can just have a look at the latest top scorers among defenders, and you'll see quite a few centre-backs that appear right at the top. Number 4. Make use of the FPL Watchlist. No doubt you've seen it every season and simply ignore it like I do, but it can actually serve a greater purpose. You can free up some space in your mind by having this list as a reference point. In many ways, it can complement calendar reminders perfectly well when used in tandem. With limited time to make decisions during the festive period, having a pool of potential transfers can come in handy. To make use of this function, click on a player, scroll down to the bottom of the information screen, and click on Add to Watchlist. You can then access this by clicking on Transfers and then finding it on the second drop-down. Number 5. Non-Premier League fixtures impacting the Premier League. For the uninitiated, the festive period can at times also have an impact on your own FPL players, which will force you to plan ahead a lot more than you had intended to. This is primarily due to continental competitions. But also, the League Cup quarter-finals usually take place in December, and most likely some first-team players will be rested for the competition, but for those that do start, their minutes may be impacted in the following Premier League game. Number 6. Try and think about FPL as little as possible. I guess it's a hard sell for me to tell you not to overthink FPL when I'm a fully fledged fantasy football addict. But there's more to life than FPL, of course. Don't let a game get you down. Don't let the prospect of red arrows worry you. Your season isn't won and lost during this period. For every bad game week, there are plenty of amazing game weeks. Take it easy, many thanks, and all the best during the festive fixture rush. And if you're able to like, share, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated.